V1. Rotate.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to a very special episode in our career series with Fly UK. Today we have an important assignment from upper management to help out with some extra operations near the Arctic Circle. The keen-eyed observer will notice this Airbus 320 is a bit longer than most, and that's because it's an A321. We'll need the extra passenger and payload capacity for our mission. We'll be taking this aircraft out of mainline service here in Manchester, ferrying it up to Leeds Bradford to pick up our many rather small passengers and their cargo. From there, we're off to Rovaniemi in Finland, also known as the official Santa Claus airport. Yes, it's the holiday season, and Fly UK has offered to pitch in with flights from all over the UK and Europe to Santa's headquarters. Normal rank restrictions don't apply for these flights, so we can take the 321 even though we don't actually have the hours in mainline service. And I can also fly from the left-hand seat, a little bit more comfortable for my flying style. But before we jump into the flight deck and arm the Christmas music, let's check the charts and the weather. Over in the flight dispatch page, we are Flight 8200, radio call sign Skyways 820 Alpha, operating from Manchester over to Leeds Bradford. Our alternate, if we can't get into Leeds, will be back here at Manchester, so we'll bring enough fuel there and back. It's 40 nautical miles. It should take about half an hour. That's due to all the procedures and, the takeoff, the climb, and the descent and the procedural approach into Leeds. And let's check the weather quickly. Manchester weather, temperatures 10 degrees, dew point 6, surface wind out of the southwest, 12 knots, good visibility, QNH 1015. So we are planning a departure off of, if I can find the right chart, there we go. So Manchester has two runways here, set of parallel 0623s, planning a departure off of 23 right. The first waypoint in our flight plan is Sonics, so we will be off of 23 right, hopefully, theoretically, and it'll be a right turn towards, what is this, MCT. I should know that VOR by now. We'll gloss over that. Sorry, it's Manchester. Okay, so we're tracking the Manchester outbound to about 3 DME, then we're starting a right turn to 345 degrees, then at 8 nautical miles from Manchester, another right turn to Sonics. Final altitude on the SID is 5,000, transition level is 5,000. Our cruise level today is a super high 10,000 feet, or flight level 100. So obviously we can't go very, very high in this flight because it's such a short flight. We are parked over here at stand number 10, so it should be a relatively quick taxi out via Lima and then possibly Kilo to Juliet. We'll see if ATC is online, and we'll try to get an intersection departure. We'll derate the engines. We're traveling very, very light today. No passengers. A couple of crew members that are shuttling up to Leeds Bradford. They'll be stopping off at Leeds Bradford, some maintenance guys and that kind of thing. Bringing a little bit of cargo, but mostly an empty airplane, so it's going to be a very, very light and rapid takeoff. So we'll get all that programmed in, and we'll meet you back in the flight deck. Before we jump back into the flight deck, I almost forgot, it's such a short flight that we might as well set up for the arrival as well, as they do in the real world on very short flights. The weather's not bound to change too much. I am looking at this, and it is starting to concern me a little bit, though. Thunderstorms over the Leeds airport. Temperature's 9, dew point is 6, winds again out of the southwest at 11 knots. Good visibility, though, but heavy rain, standard pressure, so, yeah, we're going to have to keep an eye on that weather. With the winds out of the southwest, well, 220. So far I'm planning an arrival on runway 14. So if we remember Leeds, I'll zoom in here a little bit. There we go. It has one runway. It's a 1432. So we're planning to come in on runway 14. Hopefully we'll get some good braking action. We can vacate on Delta for stand, I believe it's number 8 or something around there. We'll figure that out when we get on the ground, not too big of a deal. It is a procedural approach into Leeds. So we did this in the Q400 once. But just to go over it one more time, we're going to want to fly inbound direct to the LBA NDB at 4,000 feet. And then on our outbound leg of 335 degrees, we're going to descend down to 3,000, from 4 down to 3. Then we're going to make that sweeping left-hand turn to our inbound course of 140 to our FAF, or our FAP, which is 6.1 nautical miles out, and then descend on the glide path all the way into the runway. Our minimums for a Category 1 is 845 Barrow, 171 radio. We'll be using the Barrow 845. So that is our approach and landing planned for Leeds Bradford. Now we can jump back into the flight deck. Alright, we'll be flying from the left-hand seat on this aircraft. Again, no rank restrictions for the Christmas Toy Tour or the Christmas Toy flights. We're just using these flights to... Well, first we have to reposition them to the correct airports, and then we're bringing all the toys and the elves and everything, all that good stuff, up to Santa in Rovaniemi. So, first thing we'll do is the ground crew has supplied us with some exterior power. We'll switch that on. Everything's starting to boot up. There we go. We'll turn on the batteries. We'll leave the fuel pumps off for now. They're still working on the fuel and all that good stuff over on the ground, so we'll let them get all of that set up. What we can do is turn our ADIRs onto nav, get them spooling up and give them initial coordinates, and we'll wait for all of this to power up and give ATC a call and get our clearance over to Leeds. Well, no joy on the old ATC front, so we're on Unicom for now, but that's okay. We'll start getting our FMC all programmed up. So, we don't have a company route, so we'll just do this manually, the old-fashioned way. EGCC, EGNM, like so. And we can align the IRSs. The cost index for the A321 is... That's actually a good question. I think it's 26. Let me have a quick check and I'll be right back. Actually, the cost index for the 321 is 30. So we can go ahead and put that in there. Our cruise altitude is a measly flight level 100. Our flight number is UKV 820. Whoops. Nope. 8200. Like so. What else do we need in here? Not too much. So we can go ahead into flight plan, EGCC, departure. And we said it was 23 right, and we want the Sonics 1 Romeo, like so. Enter. And we will be taking that to Sonics. After that, we are UL 975. We want that in airways, like so. To Denby, DENBY, like so. Insert. And then we want arrival off of, we want the ILS Zulu, which is for the category C and D aircraft, for runway 14. We can insert that. And let's have a look at the old ND, see if all of that matches up. So we will go into plan mode, zoom out slightly. Alright, so we've got our departure, which was the right turn, and then over to Sonics. Yeah, that looks good to me. And then if we scroll up here, from Denby we have a discontinuity, which is fine for now. Let's see if... Okay, so the procedural approach wasn't put in there. But what we can do... Do I want to go straight from Denby to the center fix? Or do we want to do the full-on procedural approach? That's a good question. Let's see what they look like relative to each other. Is it a long distance? Yeah, you know what? Let's go to LBA first. So we'll do Denby, and then we'll do LBA, like so. And we want that one, which is the NDB. So from Denby, we go to LBA. And then the rest of this, we'll leave the discontinuity in there. And we will... hang on. And we'll do the heading manually. We'll just set up the MCP, excuse me, for heading mode. So at LBA, we want to be... Let's do 220 knots at... We said 4,000. Like so. Nope. We want 4,000 over LBA, like so. And speed constraint, we can leave that. That's fine. So we've got 4,000 at LBA. We'll plan the MCP for a manual heading mode, and then we'll come back to intercept the ILS. So all of this looks pretty good to me. Sonex is 5,000. Yeah, that's all good. Denby, we're going up to... Okay, cool. So we can go to the init page. Nope, we can go to the perf page. And we are doing a config 1. Let's go see... I've already loaded up the aircraft. Load. So we have a CG of 26. We're taking 5 passengers. They're actually just Fly UK employees, crew, maintenance, all that good stuff. We have 5 tons of cargo on board. We're taking 4.8 tons of fuel. And yeah, so our CG is 26. So if we go down here to the trim wheel, 26 is about there. So it's about 0.8, 0.9, so we'll leave it at 0.8. Config 1, flex to temp 57, that's fine with me. We have our V-speeds, V1 132, VR 134, and V2 139. It's a long enough runway. Those are perfectly acceptable. We could have done a config 2, but we're so light. That's fine with me. Thrust reduction and acceleration height, so I like to keep the thrust reduction at about 1500 AGL. We will plug in, however... let's see, 15, 17, so we want 3257, 3257. That'll give us a acceleration height of about 3,000 feet AGL. So the thrust reduction will automatically come in at, or at least it'll prompt me to go from flex down to climb thrust at 1500 AGL, and then we'll accelerate away and clean up the aircraft at about 3,000. That all looks good to me. We don't really have to worry too much about seatbelt signs and all that, although we are going to do all of that good stuff. Next thing I want to do is, well, the doors are open and that's all fine. We can go to checklist, and with the bus, I love the checklist feature. I love the co-pilot feature. I don't use the co-pilot feature. I don't let them do anything, but it's always nice to have somebody looking over your shoulder. So, cockpit prep. Let's do that.
Okay, let's start with the cockpit preparation checklist.
Indeed.
Batteries? Both on. Electrical power?
Mm-hmm.
And external power is on. Navigation lights?
The nav lights, that would be a good idea.
Set on. Engines master? Both off. Engine mode selector? Checked. Normal. Landing gear lever? Checked. Parking brake? Off. Flaps? Checked. Position? Speed brake lever? Checked. Retracted. Thrust levers? Idle. Transponder mode? Checked. Standby. Radio control panel? On. ECAM recall?
ECAM recall is that guy?
Checked. Anti-skid? On. Flight director? On. Emergency lights?
Let's go ahead and arm those.
Set. No smoking signs?
That one.
Set on. Anti-ice? Off. Probes and window heat? Auto. Air conditioning? Checked. Ventilation panel? Is checked. Electrics panel? Checked. Fuel pumps?
Let's go ahead and turn those on.
Set on. Hydraulics? Is checked. Accumulator brake pressure?
That's that one. It'll take a second for the accumulator brake pressure or accumulator pressure to... It's basically the PTU. It's the dog barking.
Set. EGWPS? On. EFCS? On. ADIRS. Checked. Emergency equipment is checked. Checklist complete.
Okay, so while they were doing that, I will, we want 5,000 as our altitude constraint on the SID. We will put the speed and the heading into managed mode, so that the that the airplane is controlled now by the FMS or whatever they call it in the Airbus. Why did 2,000 not stick? Let's do that, and we can do tilde above. Just setting up the transponder here very quickly. So that's on above because we're taking off, so we want to filter everything from above us. Weather radar can stay off for now, all of that good stuff. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Cool. Okay, so the ground crew will load up the rest of the cargo, and we'll get the maintenance guys on board, and we will get them seated, and we'll prepare for pushback. Just finishing up the before pushback checklist. Oh, whoops. I turned that off. There we go.
Set on. Thrust levers. Idle. Parking brake. On. Baro reference. Checked. 1015. 1015. Check beacon lights. On. Checklist complete.
There we go. And we are ready for the pushback. Alright, so we're on the pushback. We're clear mostly of all the gate equipment and that kind of good stuff. So we can go ahead and fire up number 2. So that's one good start. We'll go ahead and start number 1. I'll do a couple of items on the checklist in the meantime. You hear the dog barking or the PTU going nuts. Alright, well, somebody announced their intentions that they were base leg for 2-3 right, so I am going to fire off a quick advisory on Unicom, and I'll be right back with you when we're, well, we can do the rest of the checklist, and then we'll start taxiing it. That would be our intentions fired off, so we will go ahead and put this back on the checklists. And what are we waiting for? Oh, yeah.
Flight deck to ground.
Go ahead, sir.
All of that is set.
Okay, ground. We have ATC clearance for start and taxi now, so please confirm ground equipment and services are clear.
Roger.
There we go. I will take, actually I can only take either weather or terrain. I'm going to take weather in just a second.
Is okay.
On both sides. In the meantime, we can go ahead and turn off the old APU. We can set our flaps. Takeoff config. Well, we'll wait for the flaps to come down. I will turn on the taxi light. And we'll start taxiing out. We'll do the control check when we're a little further along. No time to waste on this repositioning flight. Takeoff config. There we go. Everything looks good on my end. Yeah, that was my bad. I started the pushback without selecting one of these here, the pushback or start engines, and I guess the old Airbus got a little bit hung up on the last item on the checklist, but that's okay. I don't really need all of it. Maybe it'll catch up to us a little bit later on in the flight. So, clear on the right, clear on the left. We are going to take, this would be Lima, and then we're going to make a left onto Kilo, which kind of becomes Juliet, and then over to runway 23 right. Okay, a little bit of a development as I got to the holding point at Mike 1, or the intersection here. You can see the end of the runway is right over there. Manchester Ground came online, but unfortunately they don't control the runways. So, runway turn-offs, all of that good stuff, and we'll turn on the strobes. And we're pretty much ready to go here. Transponder is on. Yeah, without the checklists, I'm not lost, but it's always nice to have something backing up what you're doing. So, again, not quite lost, but yeah, I'm just looking around. What else did I miss? Oh well, we'll take it in the air. So, let's roll out onto the runway. Clear on the left. Clear on the right. Let's get rolling. Did I forget? I forgot the trim. There we go. Take it on the roll. Power's coming in. Man flex, SRS runway. There's 80 knots. You can see we're accelerating away here quite nicely. Very, very light load. Try to keep it on the center line. And up we go. Here's coming up. Yeah, managing the pitch and the speed and everything is going to be key here because, again, very light load, so this thing's going to climb like a rocket, which is uncharacteristic for a 321. They usually, they're a little lazy usually. Climb thrust, whoops. Hit my microphone there. Hope that wasn't too loud. The, yeah, the 321's a little bit of a dog when it comes to the climb regularly when fully loaded, just because it's an extended version of a 320 or 319 or 318, so obviously the more weight we add, with the same engines at least, the slower the climb performance. And we're going to start our right turn. There we go. I'm going to bring the flaps up already. I'm going to kick in the autopilot.
Autopilot is going on.
There we go, and we're on our way to Leeds. So we're already coming up to 5,000. starting this right turn here. We'll keep it at 5 until we get to Sonics. Something. It was a very quick departure, even with the engines derated quite a bit. So we can go ahead and let's see. Runway turnoffs can go off. Nose light can go off. Everything else stays on. Passenger signs stay on. Complete our turn here. Still green, no snow in the UK yet, but I'm sure when we get up to Rovaniemi, it'll be full of snow. Speed's looking good, altitude's holding. We can disarm the spoilers, like so. And we want the engine page. Actually, we don't need any page. Come on, no. Oh well, we'll leave it. So we're into the haze, the clouds. And we're gonna make another further right turn towards Sonics. Already forget what the waypoint is called. Flight plan, it is Sonics. So we want to be at 5,000, and then we'll climb it all up to 10 once we're past that. London South Centre is online as well, but unfortunately we're not in that area either. I know what I forgot. Weather radar. See, it's quite bumpy down here at 5,000. So the faster we get up to cruise, the better. You can see there's quite a bit of activity, or cloud, or turbulence. There's going to be even more on our way, which is why I'd like to get above that as soon as possible. So there's Sonics, which is where the FMC thinks we're going to climb. We are going to cheat a little bit. Just going to disable TrackIR for the foreseeable future. Frame rate's taking a hit too. Sorry about that. Come Sonics, so plug in our 10,000, put it into managed mode, come on, managed, and at Sonics we will continue our climb. You can see it's in magenta right now, that's because there's a constraint. If we put on CST constraint, you can see that Sonics is 5,000, and here comes the climb. So that's pretty much it for the climb. Now we're already almost approaching top of descent. We want to be at 4,000 before LBA, or at LBA rather. So we'll go ahead and put tilde below. Keep the weather radar on. I'm actually going to darken the weather just a skosh. Is it that one or is it this one? Yeah, okay, so it's that one, and we'll brighten up the ND. Just have a little bit more contrast, like so. So yeah, once again, approaching top of descent, we're going to go to LBA, then we're going to plug in our outbound leg. Kept the seatbelt signs on the entire time. I actually forgot to even convert to standard, but that's okay. There we go. The QNH at Leeds is 1013, so I'll start heading down now. And let me just quickly check on that outbound leg course. So it is in fact 335, our outbound course, so we'll fly over to the LBA NDB, then 335 to 9 DME, and our ILS frequency 110.9, the inbound course is 140, so all of that good stuff is set up. We will go to the perf page, next phase, and 1013, like so. The temperature at Leeds is 9. The wind is 220 at 11. So the trends is 5,000. And the barometric minimums 845, like so. Full config. Landing speed is 124. Wow, my frame rates have taken a hit. So there's Leeds. I don't think I'll be able to do it with the scroll wheel from there, so what we'll do is we'll plug in a heading here of 335, like so. Get that set up. And there's the field. Whole bunch of clouds. It's not pretty out here. I'm going to leave it in manual for as long as I possibly can, or automatic rather. And we've already, we're a little bit high. So here comes the heading of 335. Tighten up the ND a little bit. Following this out to 4. If we go to ADF 1, this is bouncing around way too much. Like so. Bring the speed back to about 200. Like so. Yeah, so down to 4. Now we're going down to 3 because we've already passed LBA. We can go ahead and do that. Like so. Speed's coming back slowly. 4,000 for 3. Gonna give it a little bit of drag. The old spoilers. Like so. Turn on the wipers. It is not a pretty day in Leeds. Alright, we're gonna go config 1 for now. And we will keep the speed coming back. We'll do 180. There's LBA. Do I get DME from LBA? No. If I go LS. There we go. Okay, so we'll use the ILS as a DME indication. So we're at 8. We're going to 9. We'll make that sweeping left. Our inbound course again is 140. Turn TrackIR back on. We can actually start making our inbound turn now. Keep this left turn going.
2,500.
That is checked. Bring the speed back a little bit more. Go config 2. I really want to keep the speed under control for this approach. Shiny switches. Go ahead and do that. Runway turnoffs. Everything else is configured. We will arm the spoilers. Like so. Get that left turn going. Don't want to hit that hillside. We're below the glide, so that's always good. Do 240. There's the Loke. Go ahead and hit approach. Okay, now, can I land the Airbus and redeem myself? If not, this will be good practice for next time, because we're doing 2 legs on this, and then we'll do 2 legs back. I'm not sure if I'm going to film the 2 legs back from Rovaniemi. It's basically back to Leeds, and then from Leeds back to Manchester to get this aircraft back in mainline service. We'll do the 2 outbound legs up to Christmas Village, and then we'll see if we'll do the legs back as well. Alright, gear's going to come down. Go full config, manage speed, let the aircraft slow itself. Everything is green there, no blue, so we're good. I'll set the missed approach altitude, which I don't have time to check my charts. We'll just put 4,000 for now. I think it's 4,000 and we go back to LBA or something like that. Alright, the runway's in sight. I'm leaving it on autopilot because I can and I want to, because this is quite a crab into the wind. You can see the wind is 23 knots from the right. I did not select, however. We'll go medium auto brakes. That should be enough. He says, he hopes, he wishes. You know what? I tend to float these landings. We're going to go max. We don't have too many passengers anyways, so it doesn't matter if their noses go into the seat ahead of them.
1,000.
Okay, I'm taking manual control of the aircraft.
Auto flight off.
500. 400.
Everything's looking okay. As we descend, the wind's going to die down a little bit, so I have to keep readjusting the crab. You can see we're a little bit to the right now. Profile's looking okay. There we go. Using a little bit of rudder as well, just a tad. Alright,
300.
I'm happy with this.
100 above.
Oh, the wind. The wind shift. That wind shift.
200. Minimum.
We're a little low now.
100.
Yeah, I know.
70. 60.
Oh,
50. 40.
I know.
30. 20. Retard. 10. 5.
Alright. Well, there we go. Oh no, don't bounce. Don't bounce. Okay, we're on the ground. Auto brakes. Spoilers, everything. Idle reverse. Phew! Even at idle thrust, this thing wants to get away from me just because we're so lightly loaded. So we'll make the left turn here onto Delta and go ahead and shut off the landing lights and the runway turn-offs. And I almost missed... No, I didn't almost miss the turn. Okay, here it is. Turn off the flight directors. We'll get rid of the weather radar in just a second. A little bit busy focusing on this turn. There we go. Once we're safely vacated onto the taxiway, I will squawk standby and all of that good stuff. Okay, so we're vacated onto Delta. We're going to go taxi up next to the terminal, load up all of the elves in the presence. That can go off. And we'll get prepped for our second leg of this adventure to Rovaniemi. Strobe lights can go off. Start the old Apu. so. Not the most beautiful of days here in Leeds. It's one of the reasons I really like this airport, though, is because it's always prone to having a crosswind on approach, and it's never a dull day in Leeds. So let's see if the ground crew's waiting for us over at stand number 8. They should be. I gave them a quick call prior to our arrival, make sure they were ready for us. We'll be parking at my usual stand, which is between the Flybe and the Jet 2. Okay, so here's our stand. Full right rudder. Or tiller. Ground crew is set up here for us. So we'll continue with this right turn. The Speeds really wants to get away from me on this light aircraft, so it'll be a little bit better on the way out. A little bit more to the right. Okay. Well, look, I'm on the guide. Oh, whatever. I'm not going to pay attention to the guiding system. It's not going to be a great parking, but whatever. Cheat a little bit. Is it going to tell me when to stop? Yes, it will. You know what? I think that's, yeah. Yeah. Okay. We might need a pushback truck to get a little bit further back, but I'm going to turn on the parking brake, and I am going to shut them down. And, let's see. We will get rid of the wipers. APU. We'll leave the APU on for the whole time we're on the ground here. We're just loading up some passengers and some cargo, putting a little bit more fuel on the aircraft, and we will brief the rest of the flight in just a bit.